Hello. Here we are, guys, today to talk about something a little bit different, right? And the thing is, I recently challenged myself to learn Houdini just because I don't know what the reason was that. Maybe because I tried in the past and I hated, but it was in 2015, so I gave up. I was a Max user at that time, and then I learned Blender, and then I fell in love with Blender, and then I used Blender for a long time. Today in here in Vividus we use basically Blender for ArcViz, and everything else we don't use that anymore, like 3ds Max, V-Ray, no, nothing like that. Okay, but uh, yeah, I started to use a lot geometry nodes, and in my workflow nowadays, geometry nodes it's is crucial, right? I can't deal with a scene nowadays without geometry nodes. My mind think always in using geometry nodes, especially the one that I built already. If you are interested on the link, I have some tools that I've been developing in geometry nodes in the link below. But the point here is not this, it's make a quick comparison with Houdini in some things that I know I already noticed a difference from geometry nodes in Blender and Houdini. I'm totally newbie in Houdini. I am learning the basic stuff. Uh, I'm not learning on YouTube. I think it's too hard to learn on YouTube, so I subscribe a proper course and I'm learning step by step. So that takes me quicker on the target and in which I will be able to do something in Houdini, right? But for what I've been seeing now, at this point, it's a very much beginner, and I've been using geometry nodes for a while in Blender. I could notice already some advantages over the Blender. Of course, you would tell, like, of course Houdini is more powerful than Blender. It's made to be a node based since it was built in 19 something. Okay, I got all of that, and I got Blender is free, and the developers are doing a great work on Blender, right? I just want to point out the difference that I've seen now, and some of them are quite impressive coming from Houdini. At least impressive to me because my reference was geometry nodes, and that was my base, so I was always impressed by geometry nodes. But now I'm getting even more impressed with how easy it is to create a couple things in Houdini compared with Blender. And I will show you. First, let's go here in Blender, right? Let's create a simple cube and create geometry nodes out of it, right? But we want something procedural, so we are not gonna use this guy. That's quick. Let's cut it out, and let's create our cube. Okay, so now we have that procedural, so we can change the settings here. Okay, let's adjust some settings here in the nodes, something like this, right? I want to show you how is the workflow to duplicate this in Blender in geometry nodes, and how could be much more easier showing that in Houdini. Okay, so in order to duplicate that on y-axis or z-axis, I would have to do the duplicate elements. Of course, there are different ways, of course, like casting a line and putting them on the point of a line. But I will kind of try to do the same thing, the same tool in Blender, the same tool in Houdini. Here it will be face, and the element is duplicated already, but not for us. In order to see that, we have to go here and set position, right? And in this position, we have to go to the offset and do a math, right? can be this, and I will multiply, right? No, better to do this. Let's divide it, the axis. And now we have the axis. So we want just to tell that duplicating index on Z. Let's say that. Let's put this here. And let's add a math node. Okay, multiply. And yeah, we can set up the amount of copies here and here to define, right, the target. Okay, so let's go to Houdini to show how to do quickly the same operation, right? Houdini, the same thing, geometry nodes. I just need to add a node, which is the geometry node, okay? And I go inside, and in here I will add a cube. Okay, so I have my cube. First thing, okay, here in Houdini you have a lot to do with gizmos. So you can do anything in node based as it is in Blender. Like here, you can go here and set up your cube the way it looks like here. And that's the only way you can do. You have no other way. Here in Houdini, you can do this here, right? You can go here and play around, right? Or you can go to your gizmo, right? The gizmos are here to help you to do things quickly, okay? Because, for example, if you wanted to rotate this guy, you can rotate here, okay? In your gizmo. But here in Blender, for example, if you want to rotate this cube, you have to go here and go to transform geometry, right? And rotate it here, something like that, right? You have to add a node for this. Here in Houdini, in the same node box, you have these options, right? Okay, let's duplicate it. Let's duplicate this guy so you guys will know. The duplication node is copy. It's called copy and transform. Okay, now it's working already. And you tell me why? Yeah, it's working. You just need to get the gizmo and put it up and select the amount of copies here, right? So that's it, you know. Compare this guy with this. You see? I think that's an advantage of Houdini over Blender in terms of this simple task, because here you just have everything you need here and more. It's not just this, right? Because now you have your gizmo here and you can do all crazy stuff here with your gizmo, your copy, right? You can do all crazy things, man. Look at this, right? Look at this. You can go here to your box, move the gizmo of your box around it, so now you have a staircase going up, right? And you can take this guy, goes higher, right? Do something crazy like this, right? Increase the amount of stairs going on. You maybe put 100, right? So you have something like this, right? And you can play around here with your gizmo as much as you can. You can put them down, right? To be something more like this. Take your box, move your box even out, something like this, okay? You have all kind of options here to make your stair look like the way you want. Of course, I'm moving in the gizmo, but you can change it all here, right? Something like this, okay? When I saw this impressed me so much because it's way simpler for me to do this here. In Blender, it will be a totally different process. It wouldn't be even duplicating that. It wouldn't be like that. I will have to add a stairs. I will show you how to do this. Okay, let's go back to our cube. Let's delete these guys here. To do that, the same thing I did there in Houdini, I have to add a primitive, geometry, primitive, mesh primitives, and or curve primitives, and have a spiral curve, right? Let's join them so we can see the spiral. That's our spiral. So now we have the spiral curve here, right? Let's put it 2, so all together. And now we will take this spiral and we will do instances on points, and we will grab our cube, put as an instance, right? That's what we have. Now we go to rotation, bring it here, align rotation to vector, right? Bring the tangent, curve tangent, right? And tell why we want to have this, but maybe on Z axis or something like that. Or here we go. Okay, here you go. And then we can go to our staircase and go up. Okay, you see how long it takes me to do this, and of course it's you will create groups in Blender to do that for you. Like, you will not be doing this all the time. That's the power of geometry nodes. That's why I love this. Okay, but I'm kind of surprised with Houdini how easy it is to create a couple things that I didn't know it it would be that easy. For example, another example, let's remove this guy. Okay, let's create a sphere, UV sphere, right? Now we have our UV sphere. We can put maybe the radius 2, rings and segments 24, maybe something like this, right? And let's do the same here in Houdini. Let's delete these guys. Let's add a sphere, polygon sphere. Let's use polygon, and yeah, that's our sphere. Let's bring this uniform scale to maybe 2, okay? And let's bring the frequency higher to 64, the same as we have in Blender. Okay, let's see how it look like a wireframe mode. Okay, so yeah, that's how it look like, right? So so we have both here. Let's add a noise and try to create a rock with it. Okay, in Blender I have to go here, add a noise texture, right? And here I will set the position, add the noise color to the position, but to the offset. Then it will be like this, right? you see that the geometry moves a little bit. It moves a little bit, right? So what we can do is we can add a math to subtract by this, by 0.5. Now it's not moving anymore. It's just adding it. Okay? Now we have it. But as you can see, it's going on just one direction, so that's not good. And so in this case, let's go here and place normal here and the noise here. Actually, let's add a vector math. Vector math, right? Because it's a vector, of course. So I would subtract, right, by 0.5, 0.5. And now we have it what we want. Okay? And then we can play around with settings here to create something that is kind of cool. Can be a rigid fractal, but for some reason it moves away. Okay. And then you can try to make your rocks, right? Working here, adding some extra noise and other things like, you know, trying to make it looks, you know, the way you want. Okay, that's one way. Okay, but if you increase too much, you see there is something going on in the top of it. In the top of it, let's add a shade smooth, so we can see better what's going on. Okay, and to increase the amount of it, we can go here and play around with math, vector math, and we can multiply this, right, by some value, and this value can be 1. So now we have the intensity of it. So we have something, and we can create nice things, right? But that's how you do it. This here. Here in Houdini, you bring it here, right? And choose noise attribute, and then you have your noise attribute already. Okay? You just need to change this to P, right? And move it here. You don't need this. And now you have your attributes. If you click it here, you will see what is going on, what is going on immediately. And you have the noise pattern here, and you can change all kind of situation here. Okay, you can add noise along the vector, so you have your sphere just like this, and you have the amplitude, which is what we did here to control it, right? The amplitude. And here in Houdini, you have it here, right? And you have the size here of your noise, right? Something like this. But also, not just that, but you can have it, for example, animated, right? And you can see your noise animated, control the amount of your animation right away. Okay, you can have different fractals for your noise, and not just that, you can use different patterns for your noise. For example, you can have it faster, fast noise, you can have it alligator, so it creates something like an alligator, right? Look at this. This is very organic. If you animate that, oh, the noise, the alligator is not allowed to animate, but you can, for example, change it to this guy, right? Which is kind of like rocky. Do something like this, right? Increase the size of the element to do something like this, right? Let's go zero centered, so we can do something like this, right? Amplify it or reduce it, and we have this rock, man, which is pretty cool. Look at this. Look at this, man. You see? You have that, like, pretty cool. You have so much more pattern. Look at this. Look at this. You have different ways, and you also, all of them seems to be seamless. What, seamless, right? Well, like here in Blender, it seems there is something that close. Let me show you. You see, it seems there is something that close here at the top and here at the bottom. You can see this here. Here in Houdini, everything seems so seamless. Look at this, right? And more than that, let's go crazy. Let me show you this, because it's really worth it. Look at this. You see this? This is this Chelsea F12, so you can change it to a different one. You can change it to Manhattan Cell 2. You can change it to Berlin Cloud, so it's gonna be something like cloth or something like that. Look at this. Look at this. Imagine if you animate that and you have something really cool, man, right away. Look at this, right? Look at that. Let's put it back to this one, which I think it looked like a rock, right? And let's do something like this and increase the size of the element, so we may get something more like more rocky, okay? Something like this, right? Anyway, okay, that's okay, that's cool, right? You can play around with fractal and tell I don't want any fractal, or I want terrain fractal, and hybrid terrain fractal, of standard fractal, different options, right? Different options, right? All here in the same node, okay? That's what I like the most. And if you want to smooth out this guy here, you can even remesh. Look at this. You can remesh it. Look at this, man. You can remesh it, right? Bring your iterations here, right? You can remesh it, And you can use any kind of ways of remeshing it. You can use adaptive. So now you have these, right? And you can go crazy with the adaptation, right? So you don't have that much high poly mesh, right? Something like this. Look at this. Look at this, right? And you can even smooth out these edges if that's something that you want. For example, you can smooth those edges here, even though you can bring it here and look for smooth, and you will have a smooth shader. Look at that. And you can play around with the strange for smooth, right? The final quality. Look at this. And you always can go back to your rock, press enter, and you have the gizmos here. Look at this. You have the gizmos. So basically, if you wanna see what's going on, you can just change it here, right? Your sphere, and you have a different rock. Look at this. Look at this. It's a different rock. Okay? You may go here to your attribute, noise, or you can go here to your attribute noise, go here to your rock, right? Let's not see this guy. Let's not see this guy. Let's hide this. Oops, sorry. I'm still confusing the way that it works in Houdini. I just would like to see just this guy, not this one here. And this, I don't know how is that, but anyways, look at this. Look at this. I can change this and it goes like immediately the way. Look at this. Look at this, man. Look at this kind of rock I can create like just as easy, man. Look at this. You see? Look at that. Look at that. You see? That's the power of this just 4 nodes. That's what I'm talking about. That's just 4 nodes, right? And here in Blender, it's kind of a bunch of nodes, right? And I have to play around with the things here. I can put 4D, I can change it here, scale them up or down, right? Move the offset, give it some gain. You see, I may want to go in one scale level here, do something like this, right? And combine with something else later. I don't even think that this is the right way that I'm doing here, to be honest. Maybe it's my bad. Because if we see the UV sphere, it's here in this position, right? If you remove it, This should be it, I guess. Yeah, I guess I don't need this normal here. Okay, I don't need this normal here. Okay, but that's the same thing. If I scale them too much and remove it here, you will still be able to see these guys here. Okay, these guys down here. It's just the way it is, I guess. But yeah, man. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Those are my thoughts, right? And to be honest, I'm getting very excited with this guy. Honestly, I'm very excited with this guy because I I can I can see, you know, the the good things that came out of it, right? Look at this. This is very impressive. This is super, super impressive. And I love that. I love this guy. Look at this. Let me go. Let me know in the comments. I'm still studying. I'm still figuring things out. And yeah, I hope you guys challenge yourself as well to learn different things because it's always good, right? It's good for you. It's good for your brain. And sometimes, eventually, you get rid of the pattern you are used to. And sometimes, even learning Houdini helps me on Blender. Just like learning Blender helped me to understand some process in 3ds Max that was deeper than most of the artists that I was working on used to understand, right? The same thing here. I hope that learning Houdini geometry nodes and effects will help me to build a better Blender contents in Blender, right? Using Blender geometry nodes and whatever. And I'm looking forward for what the new versions of Blender are coming and bringing into it, because I think we need some nodes like this. We need smooth nodes. We need bevel nodes. We need things like are still missing on the level of geometry nodes that people are building. The community are building themselves, but those basic stuff, I think it should be inside Blender Vanilla, right? But that's it. That's the power of Blender, right? It's the community. It's us that we make Blender better every day. You guys, and of course, the Blender Foundation that are amazing already. Okay, so see you guys next time. Take care.